Hi, this is Dieter for SiteManager.io. In this video, I'm going to talk about our new smart content module that we released this month. So to start it, the module has 5 features that I'm going to discuss in this video, and in later videos, I'm going to show you how these features are implemented in the platform. So the first and main feature of smart content obviously is personalized content. So to understand personalized content, you need to know that almost all websites today are static websites, which means that when I visit a website on a certain day and you visit them on a certain day, we will see the exact same page, the exact same layout, and the exact same content. Doesn't matter who we are, what we've done before, it will always be the same. So obviously, smart content is the opposite of this. And the pioneers in smart content are like HubSpot and Sitecore. And so the websites who are benefiting from this right now are mostly like high-end enterprise level projects. So this is a definition of HubSpot. So it says smart content is website content that changes based on the interests or past behavior of the viewer. Smart content is designed to offer a more relevant and personalized experience to your website visitors, one that static content can provide. So personalized experiences today are everywhere. Every company that's winning is using them. So if you have like your suggestions for Netflix are different than mine, your Google searches are personalized. When you're visiting a website, you are retargeted with ads that are relevant using AdRoll. So personalized experiences are nothing new today. How does it work? So we have data of our visitors that we have gathered, and we put them in a group or groups. And using this information, we can create digital experiences who are really optimized for the visitor. So the big thing is the data itself. So using the data, you will show some examples of how you can implement smart content for your clients. So the first example is the most easiest one to understand. It's like when you are running targeted ads for your clients, you already know which group this targeted visitor is coming from. So basically what you do right now is you create a targeted ad, you create a landing page that is optimized for that information. But when the visitor leaves the landing page and types in the URL of the website or wants to have more information before he converts or whatever, he is pulled out of the funnel experience and he is thrown into the static experience, which is really disruptive and which is really doesn't work. So using smart content, you would be able to add this person to the group when he's visiting the landing page. And then when he would go away and visit other pages, you would know that this person is somebody who came from the ad or is in that group, and you can still have this funnel experience where you push him to the information that's very relevant for him or her. So this is how smart content could be used using ads. It's the same method for retargeting. You can also, if somebody has visited a certain page on your website, you can put him in a group. So certain pages might be really relevant to the visitor's behavior or interests. So that might be something you do. So smart content is also not only here to create this experience, but also to optimize the experience. For example, let's say that I'm subscribed to the newsletter of your company and you send me an email and I click on it and it loads on my cell phone. And then after the page is loaded, I get an annoying pop-up to asking me to subscribe to the newsletter. This is really bad for the experience for the visitor. So smart content would fix that. So when you are clicking on the link, you would add that this person is coming from the newsletter group, and you would disable your pop-up asking me to subscribe. And you could even go further and ask the next thing you would want me to do to subscribe to or whatever, or ask for feedback, things like that. So even if you're sending emails to people, you can put them in groups by adding these parameters to your links. So when somebody sends a cold email or an email to a certain group of people, make sure to put them in a group so they can have this optimized experience and they find the information that is relevant to them much more faster than they have to search for it on the website itself. Once again, when you go to funnels, you have like, if you have a website and your main objective is to let the visitor fill in a form, once the form is filled in and you go to the thank you page, you should capture it and add this visitor to that group so he doesn't get the same call to actions anymore or the same push to filling in that form if the objective is to fill in the form only once. And you can go further by showing new call to actions or new information that is next that you want a visitor to know about, or the next steps you want him to engage with the visitor of your website. We have an API, which is the fifth feature we're going to talk about later, but with the API you could pull in data from other platforms about the visitor and use it to put the visitor in certain groups as well. So the data is not limited to the examples that we're setting here, but it gives you an inspiration or an idea of what can be done and what can be achieved using the Smart Content module. All this work has to lead to something, right? So when HubSpot says that personalized calls to actions from personalized pages perform 202% better than basic CTAs, you already know why this is going to happen a lot more in the future, because this is a very big jump. So if you can deliver a personal digital experience to your visitor, it will result in better results if you're doing it right. So the second feature that we have for our Smart Content module is A/B testing, which is running on the same thing. Like you have two groups, like an A, B, C, or D group, and you show combinations of content and design and test them to know what performs best. So this is very important that you do that. Even I suggest like to challenge even best practices, because sometimes people say, yeah, you have to cram all this information above the fold, but maybe that's not the case. And even people know how to scroll nowadays. Even if the position of the forms, they always say it should be put to the right, for example. But sometimes if you put them in another position, it might outperform the best case as well. So, but to measure is to know. So when you can test things from your website after delivering the project, you can create a better relationship with your client as well. So the third feature is timed content, which has two aspects. So you have content that's temporary. So for example, if you have an event that launches or content that launches at a certain time, date, you want that content to be ready. You have published your website and you added this time logic to it. So when in a certain time zone that threshold is met, the content will be available. So that's very nice for content creators and web designers, that they don't have to sit at the computer at the exact same time to publish the content when it needs to go live. You can already prepare it before and have published it, and it will only become available when the certain timestamp has started or has expired. So even that can be done. You also have time-sensitive content, which is, for example, you have data. For example, you have a business that sells breakfasts and lunches, and you notice that when they fill in the form for reservations, that after 4 o'clock in the afternoon, most of the reservations are for reserving a spot at the breakfast table, and after 9 o'clock and before 4 o'clock in the afternoon, you notice that a lot of people are making reservations for lunch. Well, what you could do is push those informations, those menus, and switch them positions depending on the time of day. Also, seasonal content could be a great example of time-sensitive content. So the fourth feature of the Smart Content module is access. It's something we already had, but we have rebuilt it into the Smart Content module. So there's nothing new here. So you have protected pages for information downloads, and you can have an easy login system using the Smart Content module. The fifth one is the API that we built for a Smart Content module. This can be used, like I said before, to gather information from other platforms to put visitors in groups, but we also use it a lot for integration. So we have built an integration with Amazon Cognito or AntomID. So these are GDPR approved login systems, which make sure that you don't have any troubles using login systems for your websites. So you can find the documentation on this link. I will also post it in the information below. And we will add our example and add our codes from Cognito and AntomID later. So today, you only have like 1% of I think less than 1% of the website are smart website, and mainly they are enterprise level using Sitecore or HubSpot. So this means it's a great opportunity for web design agencies and to start offering smart content when pitching to potential clients, because that way you differentiate yourself from a crowded competition, the race to the bottom, and you can have a lot of upsell opportunities with A/B testing or implementing smart content. You have a better relationship with your client, and you can have a lot more value to sell. And you would be very different if you go into the pitch meeting talking about all these kind of ideas you have for the client. You make an analysis of his business and you say, we can use some smart content for this, we can do some A/B testing on that, we might do some time sensitive content, and so on. We can implement some data that you have from the visitors from your CRM platform. All these things combined make sure that you have like a different pitch, and you will stand out from the competition. So this is the end of the presentation, and the next videos I'm going to show you how to implement smart content in Site Manager. Thank you for watching.